Hello everyone. In this video, we quickly review the terminologies that are normally used in the respiratory physiology. So coming for the word respiration, so the respiration refers to the all physiological process that are involved in which the oxygen is delivered to the cell, which is utilized by the cell to produce high energy molecules, and the carbon dioxide that are produced is eliminated. So all the physiological processes that are involved in giving the oxygen and eliminating the carbon dioxide is referred to be as the respiration. So it can be divided into different types, wherein we have external respiration, in which there is exchange of the gas between the external environment and the lungs or the alveoli. The exchange of the gases between the environment and the alveoli is referred to be as external respiration. If there is exchange of the gas between the body fluids, that is the blood and the cell, then it is referred to be as an internal respiration, where the biochemical oxidation of the glucose that is occurring inside a cell, where there is consequent synthesis of the ATP which occurs inside the mitochondria, is referred to be as the cellular respiration. So the second important terminology that is used is respiratory cycle. So respiratory cycle consists of an inspiratory phase and an expiratory phase. So it consists of an inspiration, expiration and a small pause, inspiration, expiration and a small pause, it goes on. So if you record the waveform of the inspiratory and the expiratory phase, the waveform is normally smooth and it is symmetrical, except in case of horse. In the horse, it is said to have biphasic inspiratory phase followed by biphasic expiratory phase. There is two phases of inspiration and two phases of expiration. So the reason is said it may be due to the time delay in the firing of the late inspiratory neurons. We do have something called compensatory breathing cycle. So this always is a compensatory mechanism that is seen during very poor ventilation, which is characterized by rapid deep inspiratory process and a longer duration of expiration. It is also referred to as SIGH. It is also said that in case of horse, this compensatory breathing cycle is said to be absent. This is also used clinically by the anesthetists, where they often create a complementary cycle at a regular interval by compressing the bag, that is by compressing the rebreathing bag manually. They will create this compensatory breathing mechanism so that the ventilation is maintained. The third important terminology that comes across is the respiratory frequency. So it refers to the number of respiratory cycle, that is the inspiration and the expiration, that occurs per minute. So the average respiratory frequency per minute is tabulated here. In case of horse, so here the average value is taken for easy remembrance. So it is said to be around 10 to 15. In case of dog, it is 15 to 35. In cat, it is 15 to 40. In sheep, it is anywhere ranges from 15 to 35. Cow, it is about 25 to 50, and in chicken, it is 13 to 15. All these values are recorded at resting conditions, and you can see there is a huge variation in the respiratory frequency. So this respiratory frequency depends upon the factors that affect the respiratory frequencies are: number one is the age. It depends upon the age. It also depends upon the body size. It also depends upon the exercise. So if there is exercise, you can see increased respiratory frequency because the body is in need of more of oxygen and it has to eliminate more of carbon dioxide. Excitement, it again increases the respiratory frequency. Environment plays a very important role. Environment, so it depends upon the environmental temperature. Mainly the respiratory frequency varies, and some physiological status like pregnancy. So in pregnancy also the respiratory frequency changes because of the increased abdominal size because of the fetus inside, which restricts the contraction or the movement of the diaphragm. And also the physiological status like filling of the abdomen. Like after meals, after heavy meals, we can see the change in the respiratory frequency because it again hinders the movement of the diaphragm. And position of the animal, especially whether it is lying down. Whenever the cow is lying down, again there is increased intra-abdominal pressure which varies the respiratory frequency. The fourth important concept is about the types of breathing. Normally inside or in an animal, the normal predominant way of breathing is abdominal type of breathing. That means to say we can clearly observe the movement of the abdomen whenever there is inspiration and expiration. So this is a predominant way of breathing. Normal and predominant. We also have the costal type of breathing. Anyway, the costal breathing where there is observable movement of the ribs during the inspiration and expiration process. However, it is not normally seen, it is very rare. It could be seen during the painful conditions of the abdomen. For example, like peritonitis, etc., which causes the pain during the movement of the abdomen, then we can see the costal type of breathing which takes an upper hand than that of the abdominal type of breathing. We do have something called states of breathing. So this refers to the variation in the frequency of the breathing and also in the depth of the breathing. How much deep we inspire and expire. So here we do have a terminology called eupnea. Eupnea refers to the normal, quiet breathing. Normal, quiet breathing type is referred to be as eupnea. We have a terminology called dyspnea. Dyspnea refers to difficulty in breathing. Difficult breathing is referred to be as dyspnea. We have hyperpnea, which refers to increased depth and also frequency. Increased depth and increased frequency of type of breathing is referred to be as hyperpnea, which can be seen after physical exercises. We do have polypnea. Polypnea refers to rapid, shallow type of breathing. Rapid, shallow type of breathing. The difference between the hyperpnea and polypnea is the difference in the depth of breathing, where there is increased depth of breathing in hyperpnea, where it is very much shallower in case of polypnea, which can be seen in conditions like panting in dogs. We have apnea, a terminology which refers to complete cessation or stoppage of breathing. Tachypnea refers to excessive rapidity in breathing. Excessive rapidity in breathing, whereas bradypnea refers to abnormal slowness in the breathing. It is fastness or fast breathing, rapidity is tachypnea, abnormal slowness is referred to be as the bradypnea. So now we'll discuss on the term called as ventilation. Ventilation refers to the movement of the air in and out of the lungs, or it can also be stated as the process of exchanging the gas in the airways and the alveoli with the gas from the environment. That is, there is exchange of the gases in all the airways, that is the conducting pathways which takes the air from the external environment to that of the alveoli, and also in the alveoli with the gas that comes from the environment. The main function of the ventilation is it will give or it will replenish the oxygen, and it also eliminates the carbon dioxide that is produced. So we can have different terminologies that are used in respiratory physiology on ventilation, in which we have a term called total ventilation. The total ventilation is the volume of the gas that is moved in and out of the airways and also the alveoli in a certain period of time. In a given period of time, what is the volume of the gas that is moved in and out from all the conducting pathways, that is the airways and the alveoli, is referred to be as the total ventilation. We have the second term called as minute ventilation. Minute ventilation refers to the volume of the gas that is moved in and out through the airways and also the alveoli, or moved alveoli per minute. So the total volume of the gas that is moved in and out per minute is referred to be as minute ventilation. So it is always given as minute ventilation is equal to the frequency, the respiratory frequency, represented as F into Vt, the tidal volume. So here E refers to expired. So the minute ventilation expired is equal to the respiratory frequency into the tidal volume. We do have another terminology called alveolar ventilation. So it is a volume of the gas that is moving in and out of the alveoli per minute. Here the point that has to be remembered is that the minute ventilation is not equal to the alveolar ventilation. This is because we have something called as dead space. Dead space is that space in the respiratory apparatus in which there is no gas exchange occurs. So there is no gas exchange occurring in the dead space. So we have anatomical dead space and alveolar dead space. So anatomical dead space are the space where there is gas, but there is no gas exchange in the areas like nasal cavity, larynx, pharynx, trachea, and also in the bronchial trees. Whereas we do have something called alveolar dead space, where there is gas in the alveoli, however it is not having proper blood supply, or it is not perfused with the blood, so there is no gas exchange occurring here. So that part of the alveoli which is filled with the gas but there is no gas exchange is referred to be as alveolar dead space. So put together this anatomical dead space and the alveolar dead space, we call it as physiological dead space. So physiological dead space includes both the dead space of the anatomical and the alveolar. Those where there is presence of the gas in the respiratory apparatus but there is no gas exchange. That area of the alveoli which has got the gas but there is no gas exchange because of no perfusion of the blood, which is referred to be as the physiological dead space. So physiological dead space, it can be defined as the volume of the gas that is inspired but which does not take part in the gas exchange, and it is present in the airways and the alveoli. So this physiological dead space has got few important functions. Number one, it will assist in humidification of the air. Number two, it helps in certain species for cooling of the body temperature. Which is involved in thermoregulatory mechanisms. For example, panting. Panting is one of the thermoregulatory mechanism which is seen predominantly in case of dogs, by which the heat is dissipated out of the body. In case of panting, the respiratory frequency is increased. There is increase in the respiratory frequency, whereas the tidal volume decreases. There is decrease in the tidal volume, but respiratory frequency increases. However, this increases the dead space volume, but the alveolar ventilation remains the constant. There is no effect on alveolar ventilation, and the partial pressure of the carbon dioxide is also maintained. So therefore, it helps in the temperature regulating mechanism or thermoregulatory mechanism. Therefore, the alveolar ventilation can be represented as, so alveolar ventilation is equal to the respiratory frequency into tidal volume minus the dead space volume. So we do have some other terminologies like normoventilation. Normoventilation is a normal ventilation process in which the partial pressure of carbon dioxide is maintained at 40 mmHg. Hyperventilation refers to increased alveolar ventilation beyond the metabolic needs, and the partial pressure of the carbon dioxide is less than 40 mmHg. Therefore, it causes respiratory alkalosis. Whereas the hypoventilation refers to decreased alveolar ventilation below the metabolic need, and the partial pressure of the carbon dioxide is more than 40 mmHg, causing respiratory acidosis.